with that, it's time to hook up with our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Larry, they broke ground on this place in the year 2000, opened it in August of 2002, and it's been the home of this franchise ever since. Welcome to NRG Stadium in Houston. They do it big here in Houston, and a second ago it was a Texas-sized welcome for their hometown guys. They're fired up and ready to go as they get set to match up with the Arizona Cardinals. Hi again, everyone. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at this Texan ball club entering play here. They come in with even just a 500 season, an impossibility. 0-9.
And disaster has been striking everywhere for them. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching. It's just been a really, really rough year.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Cardinals here, they come in off a loss last time out, but they're still in the midst of a good stretch here. Winners of 7 of their last 9 games. The NFL season has hit high gear, and off we go in Week 11 on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. They're led out by their 6'4" quarterback, the former Pitt Panther, Tom Savage.
And this is a game for grit, determination, and somehow finding a way not to panic. What a horrible start for them. I mean, they haven't won a game yet. So now, as a quarterback, you're not just talking to your team. You've got to demonstrate to them what they need to do to win. He's got to be the leader by how he plays.
Carry for Lamar Miller. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 13.
Wow, that play got shut down in a hurry.
As soon as the snap came, you could see defensively they were just closing in. That was going nowhere.
Yeah, you count on your offensive line to give you a little bit of space, a little bit of time so you can make a move. There was none there for him.
They'll run it again with Miller. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down.
I'd say the staff that's up in the booth watching the game, they may want to file that one away. See how fast the free safety closed to make that play? Might want to check into a throw the next time.
And I don't think this is the script they had in mind for their opening drive. This is 3rd and long. Here's Savage. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Dayon Buchanan. And his guys are going to take over at the 31-yard line.
Well, surprise, surprise, partner. No, we know it's not a surprise. When you try to complete a pass against this Cardinals defense, there's a reason that they are known as the no-fly zone.
And now the Texans defense, they get ready here. Really nice starting field position here for the offensive unit. They'll run for the first time with Johnson. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
I think there's one element that just keeps increasing on defense in the NFL, and that's speed. They want it at every position, and we just saw there some linebackers who can go sideline to sideline, run past that trash, go past people, and make tackles near the sidelines.
And not only near the sideline, but also in the backfield there for the loss. They go to Johnson again. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. He gets them a little over half of what they needed. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 5.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
From the gun on 3rd down, Griffin dumping it off for Johnson. And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes this one down to the 15. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, it was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
10 yards still left on 2nd down. Ellington, his first carry, and able to surge forward for about 5 yards down to the 10.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. From the shotgun, Griffin. And this is going to be incomplete.
Quarterbacking 101. Never force the ball into double coverage, especially not this close to the goal line. The windows are so tight, you just don't want to force it in there because it could be tipped up and picked off.
And the 42-year-old veteran's kick is up and good. And the Cardinals have the first points. It's 3-0. So it's a 7-play drive, but it stalls out in the end.
Let's credit the defensive front seven. They were a little leaky at the start of the drive, but they stiffened toward the end.
Now after the made field goal, here's Dawson back out now to send this one away on the kickoff. Fielded about a yard deep. And down he goes just shy of the 25. Now penalty marker is down. Let's see what that's about.
Illegal block in the back. Return team.
Yeah, this is going to put them back with a not great field position.
So they really got zero benefit at all, right? Sometimes you can absorb a penalty when you get a big return. Then the penalty brings it back, but you still have great field position. As you pointed out, not in this case.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Shows off the quick feet as he takes this one up to the 20. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
2nd down following the run. The gun, Savage. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. An extra DB added here for the Cards on 3rd.
Blitzer play coverage.
Back to throw. Savage setting up the screen for Miller. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a first down. A fresh set of downs on a gain of 13 there for the Texans.
Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a first down.
A first down carry now for Miller. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play there. 2nd down. Offense still needing 10 yards. Second down. They go play action with Miller. Now it's Savage. Trying to force it to Hopkins, and it's intercepted. Good positioning, and it's picked off. And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
And the Cardinals getting set to trot out there now. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders. That
guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. David Johnson, touchdown number 15 of the year. And the Cardinals now adding on to their lead.
And that's another route that defenders would vote to take out of the game.
The wheel route?
Oh, without a doubt. You're just trying to move everybody in one direction. And whether it's a running back or another receiver, as they zip out on the sideline, you've got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, well, the defenders hate it there. It happened, and it resulted in a touchdown. Here's Dawson now to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Tom Savage and the rest of his Texans offense heading back out there. Bottom line, he's got to figure things out. He's completed 3 passes, but 2 of them have been to the wrong team so far.
And when we talk about the best quarterbacks, we're usually talking about touchdown to interception ratio, aren't we? And 2 to 1 is acceptable, but the top line guys, 3 to 1 or better is what they're looking for. Now we're talking about interceptions versus completions. That's not a ratio should ever be in any discussion.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. He's got Fuller. And they're able to get this one across the 35. 15 yards. The Texans pick up the first down.
Tom Savage took over as a starting quarterback late in 2016, but got hurt, unable to play in the playoffs. But he's back entrenched as Bill O'Brien's #1 QB starting 2017. But Deshaun Watson, their #1 choice, lurking in the wings.
Now a play fake here on first down. And incomplete. And this passing game, this whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, and they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again, just like last week. Each game is its own entity, treated as such.
On second down, here's Miller. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. Just a couple there on the second down run. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8 situation. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or 2 because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
A play fake to Miller. Now Savage. The Cards get to him here. He's brought down for a sack. Josh Morrow in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a 4th down. A few issues here on the offensive line. Apparently, he got sacked 5 times last week. They got to him here in the first quarter.
And I would think that running the ball would be paramount here because it's a different team they're facing, but they watch the film as well. So they'll take many of those same principles and try and apply them in this game to see if they fixed what was wrong with him in the last game.
Here now, Shane Leckler, 41-year-old punter, to kick it away. Back deep, J.J. Nelson. This is taken at the 18. A nice move by Nelson. And shutting him off. Now open field. 20, 10, touchdown, Cardinals. J.J. Nelson, 82 yards. And the Cardinals will extend their lead.
When you've got a guy that fast back there to receive punts, that's a nightmare for the guy game planning, the special teams coach. But it's also a nightmare for the punter. Sometimes they get so nervous that they mishit the ball and kick it right to him.
Well, it's no secret. That's why they have him return punts. He has the capability to take them back, and he did so there. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
They go play action here on first down. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. The Pro Bowler DeAndre Hopkins, the intended receiver. And now it's second down.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss.
All right, here we go. No, check.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll push his way forward to about the 32. They get 6 here after the incompletion, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 4.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that any time you hand the ball to a back.
The Texans on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping.
Encroachment, defense.
So they got him coming up from his linebacker spot.
And sometimes the position designation really doesn't matter. If you creep up to the line of scrimmage, you just have to look for the football. Make sure it moves before you do.
Savage on first. And here's another interception, the third of this first quarter. Picked off by Dayon Buchanan. So that is 3 interceptions now in this first half, and you hate to ask the question, but let's be honest, we're thinking about it. Do you need to go in a different direction next series?
Potentially. We know that he's probably not going to be on the Pro Bowl ballot. That's not really his stature here, but he has been their starting quarterback for this game. So they've got to weigh things about who's behind him. Do they think he can snap it back into gear? Maybe change up the play calling to help him out a little bit.
And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
Takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver, because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there.
Ready to go now in the second quarter. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. It's the Cardinals in possession of the football. They're up against a 3rd and 2 to start things out. They'll try and run for it. Here's Johnson. And he gets this down to the 18. Good enough for a first down. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
That's how you get right up off of the mat, because on the last play, they stoned him in the backfield and dropped him for a loss. But he's the type of guy that scared me a little bit, because he's not daunted. Just got right back up, showed some confidence, and picked up a first down with his very next run.
Play action. Now Griffin. Being chased out left. He'll get 10 there all on his own, but it'll be second down.
Well, he did a nice job keeping his eyes downfield, waiting for someone to get open. But once the pressure forced his eyes down to see the rush, it was time to make a break for it.
On second down, Johnson. And he'll take this one in for the Arizona touchdown. David Johnson, his second TD of the game and 16th on the season. And the Cardinals now adding on to their lead. And the lead is now 24. So that drive spanned 5 plays. And it's David Johnson who provides the capper as he scores on the touchdown run. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. Tom Savage ready to lead his troops back onto the field. So far, this has to feel like a horrible dream for him. He's thrown more completions to the other team than he has to his. 3 interceptions.
Now, this will test him mentally. This is going to test his mettle and test his fortitude because once you've thrown those 3, you start to feel sorry for yourself. But you can't do that. There's more football to be played. I was talking with Jason Garrett, the coach of the Cowboys, and he mentioned at one point Tony Romo threw 5 interceptions in a game, but it turned out to be one of the better games he played because he rallied down the stretch and took them to victory.
I know he wants to get his team back in the game, but a 50-50 ball right there that maybe was a little questionable.
Yeah, he's pretty lucky to get that one back. I think that sometimes these quarterbacks play with a lot of confidence that borders on arrogance, and that can put your team in some Dutch.
Yeah, especially maybe want to look at some safer routes after the interception he had that ended their last drive. 1 yard, the official pickup there, so it's going to set up 3rd and 9. Savage. Underneath for Miller. And he gets this one all the way up to the 40. That's good for 21 yards and a first down. A good way there to have him bounce back from the interception last drive. Something underneath, a little bit of rhythm going.
I know the best ones in the league have supreme confidence, but every now and then you need a little booster, don't you? This is their way of protecting him and bringing him back. And then they'll turn him loose later, I would think.
Let's go! Blue Lightning! Blue Lightning!
They'll run with Miller. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. Second down. Here's Savage. That is incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
Throwing on 3rd down. It's Savage. The catch made by Miller. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen, because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
With the struggles we're seeing up front for the offense today, they've got to think about changing up their play calling. Some screens, some draws, some quick-hitting plays in order to try and supplement the run game. You don't totally abandon it, but you try and give it a little bit of help.
Here's Savage now on 2nd. And he gets this one to Bruce Ellington. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. The reception good for 7. It's third down. The Texans on third down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Savage from the shotgun snap. And he's got Miller. And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes this one down to the 15. Texans passing game in rhythm right now, picking up another first.
In recent years, the slot receivers really gained stature in the NFL because they can do so many things. Yes, they can line up wide like your normal wide receiver, but to have that kind of courage and toughness to run routes in the middle of the field and become dependable targets for their quarterbacks and move the sticks, those guys are worth their weight in gold.
They go back to the ground now with Miller. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
To throw on second down is Savage. His throw caught at about the 5. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown.
The tight end position has always been dangerous, especially in the red zone, short field. But now even more so because these tight ends aren't necessarily the tight ends of old. They're the rocked-up wide receivers who have a little bit more speed. Way harder to cover than before.
And his kick is right through. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. J.J. Nelson now to return. And he'll get it up just past the 20, and his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. Robert Griffin III now gears up to lead this offense again. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of it. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down.
He hasn't had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole that closed there quickly at the end. Griffin, it's complete to Brown, right side. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. They got 18 yards out of that one, and it gets him a new set of downs.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him? Either fellow receivers or offensive linemen. That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
On 1st and 10, it's Griffin. He's got the hook up to John Brown on the right side. That one goes for 24 yards.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you get much more balance than this. Big-time run, big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
Underneath for Johnson. And he's brought down. So a minute 56 to play in this first half. We're back to Houston after this timeout. Coming up at halftime in a little less than 2 minutes, we'll send you to Orlando where Larry Ridley is standing by. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half. And after the good game last play, this time they say, as he's going to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay, no score on that play, but this guy's been a touchdown machine all year long. You know they trust him with the football.
They'll run it with Johnson. Hammering for the goal line. He loses the football.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. This offense so far on third down, they've been okay. 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and goal. From the gun, it's Griffin. And that is incomplete.
When it's 3rd and goal, you don't need to make a heroic play. You just need to make a play and able to knock that one away. That was really nice.
Yeah, I don't think going for the interception, like you said, just wanted to make sure that the ball hit the ground, and it did.
I'm going to call heroic anyway.
So give them 3 there. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they couldn't punch it in.
And credit this defense, too. That was the old bend but don't break approach, but it kept the offense out of the end zone.
Fielded about a yard deep. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Well, we have a minute. We remind you that later tonight we'll have a couple of NFC East rivals squaring off, the Eagles and the Cowboys from Big D.
Or Arlington. Got to make sure we get it right.
To be more precise there in the Metroplex. Then tomorrow night, Week 11, we'll wrap up with a playoff rematch from the divisional round a year ago, the Falcons and Seahawks, but this time from Seattle. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. First and 10, Savage. And his pass is intercepted for the... And Peterson, what happened? He lost the football. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. Looking to throw on second down. Savage. He's going to air one out. And that one will fall incomplete. Clock here now just under 30 seconds to go in this first half. I hate to sound really negative, but at this point, an incomplete pass, almost a moral victory that it's not picked off.
Well, you may hate to sound negative, but that was negative.
It was very negative, I know, but all these first-half interceptions, it's been tough to watch.
Yeah, couldn't find a silver lining in this one, much more like lead.
Lamar Miller, and not even back to the line of scrimmage this time as they're on him quickly once more. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and it'll be 4th down. Here's Shane Leckler now. Remember, his first attempt was returned for a touchdown. And now a high kick trying to pin him back. It's just a 30-yard punt that time, no return. And possession will change here with very little time remaining until halftime. Gearing up to go again here on offense, Andre Ellington works his way back out there. A good job in the passing game, decent job in the running game, but really they've been more effective through the air. We'll see if that shifts at all as this goes on.
Thus far, it feels like they're calling this game in reverse. Normally you run to set up the pass. Here it feels like they're passing, hoping to set up the run and be more effective later on in the game.
Yeah, you can do it both ways. We usually talk about it in the reverse, however.
No doubt about it.
And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. A first down carry here for Johnson. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. So they're still at the original line of scrimmage here. 2nd down and 10. The first throw for the backup Palmer. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And that one was nearly picked. Not sure he was accounting for the free safety. That brings up 3rd down.
I think it's pretty safe to say that when you're up 3 touchdowns, the last thing you want to do is hang one up there and put it in jeopardy and possibly get it intercepted. Got a nice lead. You should be able to protect it. If you get careless with the football, look out.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. A 50-50 ball here, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the former first-round pick, Kevin Johnson. And now, due to apparent time constraints, we fast forward to the beginning of the second half. This is taken at his 4. Oh, nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
Oh, he's got some breathing room. Touchdown, Cardinals. J.J. Nelson, 96 yards. And the Cardinals will extend their lead. So how about the game he's having? He had the punt return earlier for a touchdown. Now the kick return to balance things out.
And oftentimes, guys who are on punt return and kickoff return, many of them are the same guys. And they're devoted to a return guy who can break big plays. And when that happens and they know it's there, they're going to block that much harder and be that much more skillful, as well as utilizing his talents. And this is what you get. Punt return, kick return, a huge game.
So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff. Fielded about a yard deep. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is a doing it though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. This is Miller. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right. He's pretty much been completely neutralized. To throw on 2nd down. Savage. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion. And both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
Here's Savage. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
Now it's Savage off the bootleg. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's 2nd down.
Oh, he caught it. Just couldn't get the feet down. Couldn't get that toe tap sequence, right? I was ready to call him tippy toes if that one was completed.
Possible run anticipation here as the D-line sandwiches together. They'll run it now out of the gun. There's the stiff arm. Miller with first down and more. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 20-yard line. A big hitter there. A first down gain of 26 yards.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
They go again with Blue. And effective running here. He'll take it down inside the 10. That's going to be a 6-yard gain. It leaves him with third down and just a yard to go.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
Let's go! Green 39! Green 39!
And movement here by one of the Texans up front. In comes the flag.
False start, offense.
They expect this from the visiting team when playing indoors, but not the home team.
They're supposed to get all the advantages, right? The home crowd's supposed to help them. They forgot where they were, perhaps.
The Texans on third down. They've had good success, 5 for 8 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Now it's Savage. Setting up the screen for Miller. And he will have the first down before he's brought down at the 3. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Well, they've had a great, impressive drive going here, and that pickup ensures the drive continues.
And not only do you continue the drive, which is demoralizing for the guys on the defense side of the ball right now, but you make your own defense happy. They're able to get a little more rest over on the sidelines while this one continues downfield.
And this time the yards won't come so easy, as they'll, in fact, tackle him behind the line.
So if I'm an offensive coordinator, there's one thing that I know for sure. This is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL against the run. So when I look at my playlist, I'm probably thinking about throwing it.
Oh, long drive. The defense just cannot seem to catch a break and get off the field. And they'll give Miller another crack. That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here, not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well.
And he's going to go down, sacked right around the 17.
This Cardinals pass rush in 2016 got home 48 times. That's a pretty good number.
A very good number, led the league. Is it just because the dudes that they had, or the scheme, or both, or what?
It's always the dudes first, but their scheme, attacking, pressure, they'll continue to pile up the sacks.
And his kick is good. And that will cut the lead down to 3 scores at 24. Well, I guess we're at the stage here where they wouldn't say no to any points, but I don't think field goals are what they're looking for here in the second half.
I don't either, Brandon. When you're down as much as they are, that's a sign of a head coach waving the white flag to me.
This one fielded at the 5. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Cardinals offense now works their way back onto the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious, because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. Fitzgerald's got it right side. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
At 5 yards on the play there as the drive will continue.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
On first down, Griffin. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Brown. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks. They'll run it now out of the gun. And down to the 44, 5 yards that time.
You know how we get focused at end of the half and into the game situations about how much time's on the board and, you know, what you need to do? Sometimes you don't even have to worry about that. That's just smart football. You know, that kind of a lead, staying in bounds, it burns clock, even in a situation that we're not really focused on it.
On second down, Palmer dumping it off for Johnson. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Takes this to the 32, maybe the 31, and then the defense rallying quickly after that broken tackle. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here. They'll run with a former Tar Heel, T.J. Logan. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. And he got half of what he needed there, 2 yards. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 more.
That's all about doing the dirty work right there defensively. 2nd and short yardage, that's all about plugging those gaps, not giving a running back a crease to run through. And has a nice job to hold him just a couple and force a 3rd down.
Back now here on EA Sports. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. The Cardinals on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 2. Here's Johnson. He's been busy this afternoon. That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, let me puff out my chest a little bit. Even though I'm not rooting for either team, that was a really nice defensive play. It's awfully fun to watch, even in an offensive game.
So it's 3 more points, and that widens things out even further here in the 4th.
Hey, in this league, you can never have too much. So if you're in range, grab the 3 whenever you can.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he nearly broke that for more, but as it is, they'll start this drive at about the 37-yard line. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. And they had a long drive last time, but they had to settle for a field goal. And I'm sure that's how it felt to them, settling. They probably should have gotten in the end zone.
Yeah, not out and out joy, right? Because that's what you get when you put the ball in the end zone. But there are benefits to that type of a long drive. Your defense gets a chance to take a break, adjust a little bit, maybe get themselves ready to get back out on the field and play a little bit better. So they'll take the benefit even though they wanted the 6 points.
Yeah, maybe wore down the other defense. We'll see.
Now let's go. Boom, land it.
Looking to throw on second down. Savage. And this will be incomplete. When tapping those toes, he tried to get both in bounds. He could not do it, though.
In tap dance parlance, could not complete the shuffle. All right, needed to get that shuffle down with both feet, not just one.
Is that what they say?
There it is. You know, put a little sand down on the stage.
I'll take your word for it, my man.
Hang on now. 3-19.
To throw on third down. Savage. And the pressure will bring him down here. The Cardinals get home for the sack. Philip Wheeler in there to get him for a loss of 9, and that'll lead to fourth down. A rough couple of weeks for the man under center. 5 sacks last week, 4 now this week. Do you try to design some quicker developing plays if you're an offensive coordinator?
I think you do that. I think you also change his launch point at times. In other words...
And now here is another interception. Picked by Brandon Williams. And he'll take it across midfield to the 46-yard line. The interception woes, they just continue to mount. He's thrown 5 picks. At this point, you got to be thinking, is it something between the ears?
I think a confidence hit does occur once you start getting those numbers up there a little bit. But as you and I both know, it's not always just one guy's fault. Maybe somebody ran the wrong pattern. Maybe some balls were tipped. It could be so many different things. Bottom line, though, it comes back to the guy throwing them.
And down inside the 40 to about the 38. A good run there on first down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. And I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down, executed it to perfection. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
Brandon, clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
Play clock winding down. On second down, Griffin. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be a 3rd and about 13. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
Time running out here on the play clock. Now it's Griffin out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
In the red zone this time. They'll run it now out of the gun. They'll get forward for 3 down to the 16-yard line.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. On second down, here's Griffin. Flush to his right. Caught right side, Jerron Brown. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. 7 yards on the pickup there, and now they've got it 1st and goal.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a 1st down.
Coming up to the line, and they will need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. They'll need to get the play off quickly. From the shotgun, Griffin. His pass caught at the 4. Nice job defensively to hold him to 4, and now it's 2nd and goal. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So the Cardinals, they've got the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. This is Logan. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. No gain on the play there. They're going to need to come up with something better here on 3rd and goal.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but I often think to myself, at these situations, I want a back who can create his own space, who can break tackles, and in a sense, become his own blocker. We don't have that guy in the game right now.
And this offense on 3rd down today, 3 for 7 so far in this game. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. They'll try to run it in. Johnson. And he is going to lose yardage here. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
There are certain drives in the game where anything less than a touchdown that caps it feels like an absolute disappointment. This is one of those drives.
And Dawson's kick is good. And they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. And that field goal caps an 11-play drive.
That's a lot of offense to run to only get 3 points, but they'll take them. Anytime you can put anything on the board, you run to your sideline somewhat happy.
This fielded at the 2. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back onto the field. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Here we go.
They go play action with Miller. Now it's Savage. Toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete. C.J. Fedorowicz, the intended receiver. And now it's 3rd down. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Here's Savage. And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by Jude I.J. Barima. And his guys are going to get the football at their own 47-yard line. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the 2nd week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win.